It makes me think of, there was the whole slow food movement, is this like kind
Yeah.
of more quality food. And yes, it takes time, or like I'm part of it's the experience of having a meal at a table with family or friends or whatever. And I feel like we're ready, at least I'm ready for that in life, right?
Today's episode is brought to you by my good friend Andy Bovender, the founder of the Bovender team out of the Carolinas. Him and his team have successfully helped over 5,000 families buy and sell real estate in the area. So if you've had that client who's been thinking about moving to or from the Carolinas, they are 100% the referral partner to call. Today, the episode is with Eliza Michiels, who is a holistic wealth coach. The really cool fun fact is her TEDx talk is released about the same time as this episode. So when you have a moment, check that out. But today's episode, we talk about her journey into the space and more importantly, how we as agents can spend a little bit more time in just a more healthy mindset and business approach. So with that shared, if you're looking for a community to hang out with, take a look at the description below for the Inner Circle group. It is a mastermind group of past guests where we hang out, talk shop, and more importantly, hand referrals back and forth. So with that, I'm your referral partner out of San Francisco and host, Shawn Kunkler. We are live. Thanks for joining me.
Oh my God, thanks for having me.
Of course. We had such a great interaction in Denver that I was like, oh my God, you have to absolutely come on the podcast and we just have to talk shop.
Thank you. No, I felt the same way and I was super excited about it. Susie Adamson is a dear friend and colleague
Oh,
and
I
had just
love her.
raved about you and actually had Sky on. So I just, was flattered to get to join the podcast.
Well, no pressure, but one of Sky's episodes is like I think it's like top two of like
Oh,
best
great.
performing episodes ever. So no pressure.
No pressure. Okay. I'm not used to being compared to him. It never happens.
There's no comparison. You are both amazing beings, and so we're here to unpack it. And congratulations to you, by the way. Getting on the TED stage is not a small feat. So
Thank you.
kudos.
Thank you. It was really an amazing experience and
Was it?
also like an honor of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And actually a really meaningful, my topic was holistic wealth. And
Really?
this is something I've been talking about for literally at least 5+ years and like 10 years, I don't know, a long time.
Yeah.
And the process of writing the talk was really hard. Like it was vulnerable and challenging, but so impactful to kind of have to put my thoughts out on paper and ultimately memorize. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's hard, I would imagine, to make it succinct, right? Because you have like this concept, and now you have to like
Yes.
whittle it down to literally a couple minutes
So it
and
was
make it
10.
powerful. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
10
It
minutes.
was 10 minutes, which is long and short because I had to memorize it, which is the longest I've ever memorized anything.
Holy shit.
And yeah, and so it's not so long that you can, I've got so many different ideas I want to share, but it's also long enough that it's got, you have to make the things work together and
Yeah.
make sense. So I'm excited. They've just started posting the official talks it was May 4th was the talk. And so I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, mine will be live and people can watch it online. And
Oh my God. Please share it with me. I
I will do.
would
Yeah.
love to check it out. And it's such a maybe weird is not the right word, but holistic and wealth. We usually don't marry those two words. And so
Yeah.
like unpack that, like share, tell
Yeah.
me
And
more about that.
some of this will be a little bit of my preview of my talk, but it's the thing that, so I recognize that the original like meaning of wealth was well-being. And I personally have gotten to experience how I think our current definition is money and material goods. And
Yeah.
I got to experience having money and material goods and not feeling like I was thriving, in my life as far as my personal relationships. And so I define holistic wealth as the I'll say like optimization of health, money, and community. And actually, my
Oh,
talk, I say
interesting.
community, health, and money because I probably actually do rank them in that order. If you think about only having one, like usually it's people that matter the most. You know, if you're healthy
Yeah.
and you have no money and no friends, like, yeah, that's, you probably are okay. But if you're, if you have, people always like on their deathbeds, right? They talk about it's like wishing they spent more
Yeah.
time with people, or it's usually our relationships. And I think partly because we don't have a way to quantify those, right? It is really easy to calculate your financial net worth, dollars and cents or whatever currency
Mhm.
you're in. How do you quantify, and not even that we need to quantify everything, but it helps our brains, I think, right? When we can measure something and see it. What is your, what is your value of your family relationships, right? What value, how does the quality of the relationships you have compare with like the quality of relationships I have with my family, right? And like, I'm not actually advocating for comparison in that way, but that's
Yeah.
what we do with dollars. And that's how we've ranked everything of like, oh, how much do you sell as an agent, right? Like you're so many $1 million, right?
It's so true. I mean,
We're
it's
like,
the whole
oh,
bigger fish. It's like
yes.
everybody's going after the biggest fish, but no one talks about. It's funny. Sorry to tangent this, but
No,
one of
please.
my favorite quotes, and I'm going to misquote it, is something to the effect of men go an entire lifetime fishing, realizing that it's not the fish that they're after. It's like it's the whole experience of these things. And to your point, that's not like you can count how many fish you caught, but you can't count the joy
Yes.
that day on the
Seeing the
water with your best
sunrise.
friend. Yeah, and just like the cool water, hitting your hands and the breeze, or lighting up a cigar and having your best friend there. Like that's to your point, like, and I've never thought about it, but you can't put like a numerical value on this thing. You
Yeah.
just can't.
Yeah. And
That's
then
fascinating.
simultaneously, I think I'll say that there is actual value in some of those things. For example, relationships, right?
Yeah.
I had great, agent brain. I remember this like 2 falls ago. I was feeling like, oh, I just didn't have anything on the books. I was feeling nervous about my sales, and I was talking to my sister, and she's like, "Okay, like worst case scenario, you don't sell a house for the next 6 months. Like worst case scenario, you do this." And we got all the way down to worst case scenario was that I move in with her and her husband and children. And she's like, "We love you." And so like this idea of that's not actually dollars in my bank account, but that's another resource I have before being homeless, right? And
Yeah.
so like and I think that another thing I'm passionate about, have been so individualistic in a sense of like, let me show you, I don't need anyone. But what I'm feeling is like, it's really that interdependence that,
Yeah.
brings the richness in our lives. And also, um, I think we've lost, right? Like, I think we don't have as much community through like religion organizations now, or,
Agreed.
just so really wanting to bring more attention to like, wait, which bucket am I chasing to fill? Is that even the bucket that needs more? Like that bucket's not going to help. Like really, I need to spend some time over here.
Have you been completely neglecting your newsletter, social media, or any of your outbound marketing? If so, I have a solution for you. With little to no commitment, a virtual assistant can jump in and help you in those areas you just don't have the time for. For more information about hiring a virtual assistant, go ahead and follow the link in the description below. I rabbit holed. I don't know how I even stumbled upon this, but in the 80s was opulent luxury. It was
Okay.
the polo shirt and the Porsche and the gold bracelets and rings and the big hair. It was like very opulent.
Yeah.
And like our generation was imprinted with that. And I think part of it is we just haven't let that go. Because in the 70s, that wasn't the value. The value in the 50s, that wasn't like I get it. There was a whole bunch of other cultural things going on. I get that, but it was like very family. It
Yes.
was you work at one job and you get a pension when you retire from that job, and it was structurally very different. Sorry, my dog's barking. If you're picking that up,
No worries.
but even my grandparents, their parents had immigrated over and they lived in a multifamily house and they all lived in the same house as a
Yeah.
community and
Multi-generation. Yeah.
multi-generational,
Yep.
and everybody pulled towards the same goal. Like they pooled their money to buy the house and then they pooled to do this thing. And even within that, like if, as I'm reflecting on that, it was like the Italians had like there was the Italian section of the city, and there was the
Mhm.
French section, the Polish
Mhm.
section, and there was like the sub communities within the communities. And we've lost all of that. Like we've lost community. Like
Yeah.
we've just lost it, which I don't know. I think until you slow down and have these conversations, you don't realize like what we've lost and what we actually replaced it. We replaced it with like, oh, these instant hits of gratification. Let me just buy a nicer car. That'll make me feel good.
That's right. Yeah. That makes me think of I was reading something and it was like I feel like it was a commentary on wealth, but this therapist who like is a therapist to wealthy people, and he was saying how, like that habit or that tendency of wanting to buy for the dopamine. And he was like, he knew someone that had like bought five Teslas or five whatever. And the thing he said was like, does does retail therapy work? He's like, yeah, but so does cocaine, right? Like it's momentary. Like,
It's
and
true.
I
It's a state change. It's temporary.
yeah, it's like, yep, that does feel good in that moment, and then the high's gone, and now you still are left with, like, not having any friends or heartbreak because, something happened or whatever, but
Yeah.
and ultimately, that's the point of my talk is really sharing about my own journey, of feeling recognizing how my own pursuit of, like, success and financial independence, I've really come to see was, like, actually a cover of, like, denying my humanity. It was my own discomfort with, like, being vulnerable and having needs and, like, wanting to,
Mm.
you know, because if I have money and this, like, I can, keep out the pain in a way, and it's like, you know what? That is the human experience to have all these emotions and all these, different types of
Yeah.
challenges and joys and everything, and money's, like money's important in our culture. I mean, if you are struggling, like, I'm not trying to pretend that that is not a real thing and, like, figuring out how to have enough income to care for yourself. But I feel like for most people probably listening to this podcast who are living in a house, have some sort of regular income, it's like more money is just changing maybe the baseline of your toys and your things. It's not actually, you know, you just get a little bit more expensive car, move to a more expensive neighborhood, and now you're just back to a new baseline. Um, in that, this is a little bit tangent, but I've been thinking
Mm.
about it as my air conditioner broke a week ago in my house, 2 weeks. It was right after the heat wave, and I would have thought like, "Oh my god, I could not have air conditioning in the summer, that would be terrible," and it's been kinda cool, like, there've been some days it's kind of been, like, not great, but it's also been, like, a great reminder of just, "Oh, it is so nice to have that," and how easy, and not having that ease, I'm gonna appreciate it when it comes back again. Like, sometimes I think just taking a pause and not having something that's so easy, and then it's like, "Oh, yeah." It's similar I don't know if you ever camp, but I feel that way with
Yeah.
camping. When I come home, I'm like, "Oh my god, a shower is amazing." But every morning when I'm waking up for work, I'm not like, "This is the most amazing thing."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do can't. It's funny. I was just thinking about. So I bought a Land Rover so I can literally go. Like we can go at any moment
Nice.
camping. And so it's funny. This morning I was thinking maybe I should just like we should pack up the dog and just go. Like it would
Yeah.
be, we just go. Like go
Yeah.
for a night and come back. I bought it because of that. Like our 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 lives are working with clients, everything is so spontaneous and so busy and so chaotic. And when there's like those moments of like, hey, there's actually a break in my calendar, why don't I just go away literally for a night and just get like a quick little reset? But it is nice. There's just something nice about nature and like
Yeah.
you dealing with bugs and not having a shower and like it's it's so inconvenient to come back and then realize like how the all the amazing conveniences you have.
Yeah.
You know, here's a crazy story. I don't know why I just thought of this. So my grandfather during the World War II was stationed on a naval ship on a submarine,
Okay.
and submarine has obviously a lot of guys, and there's a finite amount of clean water. And
Oh, right.
so on the ship, you literally turn on the water, get yourself wet, turn off the water. You lather up, you turn on the water, you rinse off, you turn off the water. If you do that, the water never gets warm. It's whatever
Mm,
temperature it is in the pipes.
right.
And I remember being a kid, preteen,
Hmm.
and I was like sick. My mom had to work, so my I stayed at my grandparents for a couple days, and I would hear my grandfather in the morning. You hear the shower turn on, he would get wet, turn it off. It like literally that fast.
Yeah.
And I remember being little and trying it and going, "This is freezing. What?" I think there's something really healthy about having discomfort
Hmm.
to like frequent discomfort to recalibrate you. I think is really good.
I agree. And I was thinking about it too in the sense of I don't know if you have had the experience of like going on vacation where maybe you end up eating, more decadently or drinking more, like just kind of, like more fun in that way. And it can feel so good to come home and be like, oh, I just want like, a good salad and
Yeah.
some of that like kind of regular routine. But I think if you don't have I do believe everything's relative, right? So if you
Yeah,
don't have things to contrast against, it just becomes the baseline or like
that's true.
regular.
And so how do you work with people to create that to I guess reevaluate or readjust that baseline? Hey, real estate pros, be honest. You know you should be using video, but maybe you feel awkward, don't have the time, or just aren't seeing the results. This is where Kim Rittberg's Video Bootcamp comes in. This live coaching program helps agents create high quality videos quickly and confidently, resulting in leads and clients. Her students have seen results. One landed 3 new clients directly from social media, and others brought in millions of dollars in closed sales. Spots are limited, and to apply now, follow the link in the description below.
Yeah, well, that to me, that's actually the first part of like getting a handle on finances, right? Is just figuring out like what is your current baseline. I
Mhm.
think a lot of people, and and I'll say I'm not perfect in handling my finances. Much of this is sort of a learned practice and things that I want to be immersed in continually too. But I find understanding what your current baseline is, so what like what you need for just kind of regular. And
Yeah.
then also you can decide, especially as agents, right? I think like, is that regular? Like, is this regular working for me? Right. And so in the
Mm.
past, I'd say personally, I've really enjoyed having a low overhead. I'd have lived in a very modest house and I loved living well under my means because I enjoyed travel or sometimes taking chunks of time off. And,
Yeah.
I don't have kids, I'm not partnered. So I had a lot of personal flexibility. And so having what my baseline be really low gave me a lot of other options in a different way.
Hmm.
Um, and there's not like a right or wrong. I think it really is this like awareness and then checking in with it. And then so I think that's in like kind of your general financial management. And then how do we stay, aware and grateful of like all the amazing things we do have? Uh, I think there's lots of different components to that, and sometimes actually one of my ideas, because I'm, in this like creation mode of is maybe offering challenges, right? Like so one week it could be um Yeah, I'll give a couple away that I've thought of. One time I was thinking about having a challenge of like give $20 to someone, like just observe someone doing something kind or whatever, right? And like give some $20 to someone you think like deserves it. And then I feel like another week it could be like give $20 to someone you think doesn't deserve it. Maybe you see someone being a jerk and you just kind of like acknowledge them like, "Oh my God, that was really terrible," but I'm going to give you $20 or something like just like kind of like play. I think there's something about like play and
Yeah.
disruption, right? Just like disrupt the regular so that you can get some more perspective on what the regular is. It's hard to know the water you swim in unless you get some contrast out of that.
I love that. It's funny, and you reminded me immediately. There's two of my favorite channels that I've watched on like social media. One, it's this British dude who's like dressed to the nines, and he'll just
Okay.
walk up to people and give them the most like over the top compliments,
Right.
and just like, and it totally blips people. Like they're almost offended at first, then they're like, "Oh, why, thank you," because it's so out of the norm that
Yes.
it's cool. It's really fun. And then there's another one where I think it's surprisingly I think it's also in England. The dude will randomly walk up, typically to like older women, and give them
Okay.
like a bouquet of flowers, and just
Oh,
watching their entire like just watching them like their whole posture, their whole demeanor, everything about them, just it's like this ray of sunshine just hit them,
yes.
and it's so wonderful.
And I think, those, well, the first one, there's no dollar value. The second one, of course, you need some dollars maybe to buy a bouquet of flowers. But I feel like this is even an example of stuff of like, how do you create more joy in the world? That's not even like, oh, I had to buy this expensive gift, right? It's like, oh, I saw this person. I was thinking in my head how I love her shoes. I'm going to verbalize that and share it, right? Or I
Yeah,
see somebody kind of like struggling, I'm going to hold the door for them and like ask how their day is going, but just, and I think some of this comes back to that, like building more value in community and connection and, acknowledging that we're in each other's presence and not just kind of being in listening to our own show, watching our own movie on our own device and, all of this like kind of solo, just kind of operating around each other, missing opportunity to connect.
yeah. I think there's so many lost opportunities
Yeah.
of yeah. I mean, there's just so many. I think, especially with like the degrade of society virtue of social media, it's like we can, instead of saying these incredibly aggressive things online, we can also say really incredibly nice things to people in person,
Right.
and like get out of your own way. Like it's
Yeah.
weird. It's weird to like walk up to someone and be like, "Hey, you know what? That is a really awesome pair of shoes you got on," or "I really am digging that whatever."
Yeah. Yeah. That just made me think too in giving compliments, sometimes finding the not obvious one, because I have a friend who has like beautiful hair. And she said, she's almost like people compliment her all the time on it, which is lovely. I'm not saying to like stop complimenting people, but I think there's almost something where it's like she's so used to getting that compliment that if somebody noticed her shoes or her great idea or, whatever, that it's like
Yeah.
recognizing these things that aren't even just on the just so obvious too. Um, there was something that I was thinking of when you were saying that, though, social media. Oh, I know, and actually I have to, check myself sometimes on this, that I can get excited and almost, I feel like, start going down, like, a critical path of, like, our culture or people, and so when you're saying that of, like, we can choose on social media, right, to be, like, being mean to each other or spreading compliments and joy, I continually have to or like to need to try to remind myself of like, who do I want to be? Right. Like, I'm not in charge of you. I can't actually change or control you. So, like, who do I want to be? How do I keep showing up in a way and
Yeah.
being a like model of what I want to see and not just also like, again, because I can fall into the like, oh, like kind of judgment of how people are
Yeah.
doing things. And especially around money, actually, that can come into play where it's like, who am I to say how anyone spends their money or, what, um,
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, it totally makes sense. And I think what's being lost right now in society is curiosity. And
mm,
like we so often, let's call it political, right? It's like if you're blue and the person's red and they say something, immediately you're like, well, you're an asshole.
right.
And it's like, why don't just approach it with curiosity of,
Yeah.
hey, I'm curious, how did you arrive there?
Yeah.
Like, tell me more, like, let me understand you as a human.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, you don't have to agree with me and I don't have to agree with you, but I can at least understand maybe you had a whole bunch of life experiences that helped govern that view that you're
Right.
taking, and it's
Right.
valid. It's
Right.
yours. It's totally
Right.
valid. I don't have to adopt it, but it's valid for you. And I can still appreciate you as a human. And I so sadly feel like that thing is lost. And it's like we're so hypersensitive about just such bullshit right now. And it's like these claws come out, but it's like we can have different opinions.
Yes. Yeah. Well, hearing you say that, it makes you think. I feel like what's missing is the acceptance and acknowledgement of the complexity of life, right? Like it's not just like
Yeah.
two colors. There's so many grades of purple between red and blue, right? And it's like so polarized into like two colors. Or even, I can say even personally, sometimes like this has been a thing for me with my therapist where it's like, oh, like I can both be sad and happy. Like there's not just necessarily one emotion present. I could be devastated over this, one aspect of something that's happening, and really like there's this other exciting thing too, and that's not wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Or like, but I think you're I like the aspect of curiosity, and to me I think it's allowing for complexity, right? Because
That's a
the
good way to
lack of
put it.
curiosity is trying to get to this answer, this like quick, but and when you can't sort of put it all in this like fast answer box, it's it takes some time and
Yeah.
curiosity to understand it.
Well, and it like and it relates back to what you're doing with the holistic health wealth. It's stepping back and looking at it from different lenses and seeing it from different perspectives. And more importantly, I mean, how hard is it to actually appreciate someone else's opinion, even if you just completely don't agree with it?
Right. Right.
And it's like vice versa. They're giving you the grace to have your opinion. And
Yeah.
it's true. Having two different feelings is so complex. Like when my mom passed, for example, one side of me was incredibly relieved that she's no longer in any pain.
Right.
And then the other side of me missed her incredibly. And it was like literally being pulled apart of like I remember it was very challenging to
Yeah.
kind of process two completely opposing feelings simultaneously, and not just those two. It was like three geometric dimensional of like you're being pulled up and down and left and right and forward and back all at the same time, and
Yeah.
you're just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. And I think though, like, I'm sorry for your loss. It's devastating. I can only imagine. And I think though it's such a great, um, I don't know, like example back to that like complexity and even multidimensionality of life, right? Like
Yeah.
if you didn't have a relationship with your mom and she didn't mean anything to you, y yeah, you wouldn't have had those feelings, but, like, what a loss, right? Like, "Oh, that was so hard," but that again, that is, like, part of the, like, range of life experience and emotion, and,
Mm.
um, I don't know, I think that I have thought very, like, binary a lot in my life, thinking, like, "I'm happy or I'm sad," or, "If I do this, I'll be happy, and if I do that, I'll be sad," or, "I'll do this and I'm right," or, "Do that and I'm wrong," and it's like, that's so confining
Yeah.
and such a, it's not the life that I want to it's not the yeah, that's not the way I wanna live life.
I
Um,
mean, I don't think it's possible either. It's like
yeah.
happy and sad. It's like, I mean, it's like, oh, everybody's like, oh, I just want to be happy. And you're like, but that's an extreme. And nothing in the world stays in extreme. Like winter doesn't last forever, summer doesn't last forever, night doesn't last forever, day doesn't last forever. And now you're expecting and wanting to live happy.
Yeah.
Like that just doesn't there's in every culture like everything has an opposite.
Yes.
And it's like it's one of those weird things that we've kind of like embedded into society that is just completely not true.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one thing I will say that in the like community context that comes back to that, I think that there's this aspect of you know, being around people with different and lived experiences and, even like from an age perspective.
Yeah.
And, we were talking a little bit about your family, your earlier family and like multi-generational living, right? I think that there's this aspect of not having some of this like perspective on life
Mhm.
because, now like kids are all at like daycare with all their peers. And, I almost feel like we're not like commingling. And that's not totally true. Obviously, we've got, not obviously, hopefully for people that spend, holidays with families and stuff like that. But I don't feel like we have like this, I don't know, like more nuanced appreciation or like conversation and appreciation about like kind of life or maybe like philosophy. I just feel like we're so entertained. We're really entertained and not necessarily
Educated?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating. And it's interesting. Like you create like a very challenging thought of I mean, we definitely culturally shy away from discomfort.
Yes.
And I think the one thing that's holding us on is sports because it's like baked in a lot of really amazing lessons. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna fail, you're gonna suck, you're gonna be sore, it's gonna be hard,
That's
but
right.
those are all amazing lessons, all
Yeah.
of them. And
Yeah.
you have to like navigate through it. Whereas everything else is just dopamine hits and gratification. It's just like we're addicted to finding this thing that's like creating happiness but doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
feel like the savings grace is the human body and the need to compete.
Yes. I love that. I so agree. And I think that in that I will say that I think the human body has so much wisdom, right? Like in part of this disconnection, we've actually gotten disconnected from our bodies too, of even
Yeah.
just noticing like, ugh, I'm tense every time I, engage on this thing or yeah, and I think there's a lot of joy in the human body, right? I get also back to like low cost, very accessible, potentially, I think nature's incredible for body and mind. Um, but yeah, so sport I agree with you that sports are important, have an important part and offer a lot of lessons.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just yeah, there's so many good lessons. And the fascinating thing from having the privilege to sitting down with so many top performing agents on this podcast, it's wild how many were D1 or
Mm.
professional or
Yeah.
semi-pro. It's it's a staggering amount, and even like maybe not even necessarily athletes, but like professional dancers or like it's wild to me because I genuinely feel in my heart of hearts that there is you can count trophies and that's quantifiable, but I think there's a lot of things that aren't quantifiable, like
Mhm.
discipline
Uh-huh.
and discipline, like going
Oh,
to a training and putting 100% in that day that you don't feel like it, or you're in college and you probably are a little hungover,
right.
or you
Yeah.
didn't eat that well, or you just don't feel good. Like you're
Yeah.
just fighting and you still, for your team, you
Yep.
show up and you put in the biggest effort that you possibly can. And usually it's funny, like reflecting on my own training, it's like those are the trainings that you get through and I'm most proud of.
Right.
Like,
Right.
oh my God, I totally, I figured it out, sucked it up, or I
Yep.
got through it with a broken thumb, or like I still trained and I still competed with this like stupid injury, and I had to hide it so they wanted to like take me out, or keep me from doing it.
Like, I'll the softer part of me is like, I don't condone competing when you're injured. That is not worth it. But that other part is the like, yeah, that like personal empowerment you felt and getting to choose, like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show up, and this matters to not just myself, but the people that have been depending on me. And
It's funny. I'm very as almost 50. I'm very torn about it too.
hmm
As like now, I'm like, was it worth it? But at the time, it was totally worth it.
yeah, great.
I,
That's
I
great.
actually, so at one point when I was training, uh, I was doing this one move over and over and over, and my back started to hurt, and it like
Mm,
hurt really bad. Come to
hmm
find out, I had stress fractured my lower back
Oh
and
my,
didn't know it. And so I'm like in chronic pain for months, and I still competed. And then I
oh,
wound up winning first place with a freaking broken, literally a broken back.
and what
In
sport?
Kung Fu, I was
Oh my
competing.
gosh.
But like looking back on it, I'm super proud of myself for just putting my head down and doing the work.
Yeah.
On like a physical side, I'm like, man, I wish I just like didn't do that, because I've created a lot of other problems for myself down the line.
Right.
But I think the younger side of me, I'm like, I know that if I need to just put my head down and do the work, I will do the work, and
Yeah.
I will get
Yeah.
out of even my own way to do it.
Right. Right. It's that overcoming adversity, right?
Yeah,
And that is the biggest confidence builder, I think, of having
by far.
experience. And yeah. Yeah. I have a dear friend from kindergarten, and actually, and when I was getting ready for my TED talk, and I was kind of panicking because it was a couple weeks away, and I still didn't have my script like, fully
Did
done.
you
And
wait till the last minute?
no, I had been working on it, but yes, I knew what the deadline was. But honestly, it's just the finish line that. But it was so meaningful to me. She said to me, she said, I have no worry. She's like, you are going to do it. She's like, you're going to figure it out and you're going to get it done because that's what you do. And like her faith in me in that way. Um, and, I think it resonating with feeling like, okay, that I could believe her,
Yeah.
just really helped me get it to the finish line because it was very, um, yeah, it was, it's funny. Sometimes things are challenging and it's not just about like the time in, right? Like there is an aspect of reps, of course, right? Like reps build muscle and stuff. But I think sometimes, especially when there's like emotional components to it, it's not always clear, like, and the force isn't, it's not just about like, let me just do it, which is how I've
Yeah.
often tried to think like, I just need to try harder versus understanding like why this steel wall in front of me, I cannot get through. And I need to like take a step back and like look at another path. Um, but that experience of facing adversity and overcoming it and showing up and that
Yeah.
doesn't always mean winning the game or the thing, right? To your point, I think that we were talking earlier, but that experience of showing up and, you know, giving your best and life goes on too, right? Like,
Yeah.
works out in some way.
Yeah. It's you gotta have those people in your life
Yeah.
who they kind of just grab you by the shoulders, and they're like, look, I see what you can do. I've seen what you've done. You got this.
Yeah.
And it's just you have such a deep relationship with those people. You're like, okay, I hear you.
That's right.
Like,
It's not just
you
someone
can't
like,
even you can't
yeah.
even argue it. You're just like,
Yes.
all right, I got
Yes.
it. I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need those. You need people and that goes back to your point about community. But you need people who they'll just kick you in the ass sometimes and be like, "What are you doing? You got
Right.
this. Like,
Right.
stop debating it. Stop overthinking it. Like,
That's right.
you can do it. Just
Yeah.
put your head down and get it done, or whatever. It's a steel wall. Just go around it."
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's and the comfort, I think, of like those relationships where
Yeah.
also too knowing that my performance in that was not going to change our friendship either. Right? Like right sizing that of feeling this like, I've got to like da 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 da, and just like feeling her confidence in me, and then also knowing like she's got my back no matter what,
And
and
that's the other side too, is knowing like a dear friend, they're not steering you into danger.
right,
Like that's
right,
not they're not set. I mean, they could be, but unless they're really, and if they're the right friends, they're not.
right. If they're
But
a friend, they're not straight.
they're setting you up to succeed, and
Yeah,
so it's like y- trust that. Like,
yeah,
like you're not going to give them a bad advice. They're not giving you bad
right,
advice.
right. Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
I'm curious, with your business of holistic wealth, who's your ideal client?
Yeah. So I'd say I'm in sort of the development phase of it. So I'm, somewhat exploring, experimenting with that. But who I
Yeah.
believe my strongest client right now would be, someone who's earning a decent, I'd say mid to high income and
Hmm.
feeling poor, right? Or feeling stressed about money. And, because I think that there's, again, when there's no money to manage, that needs support, and that is a thing. And, and you're feeling lack, right? Like there's a reality to why that lack is present. But when you have a lot of resources and are stuck in that lack, there's actually a lot of opportunity to put, I think, some systems into place. One, to like get the nuts and bolts of your numbers, right? I'm not just saying like think positive or, think abundant.
Right.
It's like, okay, let's like actually look at the real data, and then, put you back in the like power seat of, is this is this supporting the life you want, right? And maybe it is. And there's also like different phases of life, right? And different experiences. Like I don't have children, so people have children, like saving for college is a big deal. And that's not a big deal maybe when you're 25 or 55 or whatever. But so just I think really what it is that I'm interested in is helping to like be more intentional with like both appreciating the resources that are in our lives and then directing them in a way that is supportive of, a full life and healthy community.
I love that. That's nice. I like. It's such a nice way to think of it, of a full life in a healthy community. Because if I feel, at least in my life, if I have those two, everything's pretty all right. Like that's
Yeah. It really gives the most resiliency too, right? If you have like kind of some control management over what your means are, and you have community, which again is these like non-quantifiable support, whether it's, mental health, like sleeping at my sister's house, right? Like all these different ways that there's and joy, right? Like back to I am I've also really been working on kind of changing my mindset from this like that I have to like earn joy or pleasure, right? Versus like again, it's all part of life. Like yes, like we need pleasure and joy, and it's I don't want to use the word entitled, but it's valuable. Maybe that's what it is. I used to kind of think that that was like the extra if you earned it, right? Like if you did enough work, you got to have the joy or the pleasure. Whereas actually it is part of the system, and it it is needed.
yeah.
So there's value to it.
Which I think is a great point. I think it's the curse of the if this then that. It's
Yes.
like, which is it's like if I buy that car, buy that house, go on that trip, then I will be fulfilled or happy, blah blah blah. It's like why not just do it now and go on that trip
Yeah.
and buy that car? It's like
Yeah.
get it now. Find those things now.
It's that reminds me, there's like a story fable, I don't know what you'd call it, but about somebody who, goes on vacation. I want to say it's like Central America. I don't know. The image is, someplace tropical and beautiful, and meets this man, and he's fishing and he's like doing so great, and the guy's like, "Oh my God, like this fish is amazing." And basically goes on to like how the guy could like create this huge business and then sell it. So then he could retire so he could just fish all day. And the guy's like, that why don't I just keep fishing all day like I do now?
I'm already doing it.
I don't have to like go make this mega empire to get back to the lifestyle that I've already created.
Yeah. It's so true. It's so true. It's like there's a similarly there's I remember reading it. It's like a Chinese fable of this guy was climbing a mountain and looking for the perfect sunset. And then as right at the moment when the sun was setting, he realized that if he just climbed up another 15 feet, it would be better. So he climbed up 15 feet, started to look at it and was like, you know what, it'd actually be better if I move over another 10 feet. So he moves over in the sunset. He missed the whole thing. And it's just like, why not just
Yeah.
hang out where you're at and
Yeah.
and enjoy it. And
Yeah. And there's that brings up there's a concept I've been like reflecting on and trying to figure out how to make into some sort of program or like lens, right? But this
mm,
idea that it's like how to manage the tension of the current moment and the future, right? Because I think of this with money in
mm,
particular. So, like can't take it with you. You only live once, right? And, me not like there's things that I'm saving for the future, which I may or may not get to, right? Like, God willing or, whatever universe. Um, but then it's like if I, you know, YOLO and spend everything right now, like hopefully when I get to that future, there could be some challenges. So it's like how to like maximize that tension, I think, right? Or, so that you're appreciating and enjoying the moment and taking care of your future self. And that could be in health too, right? Sometimes they're like,
yeah.
I don't feel like working out or, cooking. And
Yeah.
um, so like kind of like how to be aware of those like that tension and be clear, and it doesn't again, it's not that it's like all or nothing in any given moment. It's sort of being able to flex in that. But I think again, a lot of what I'm interested in for my own self is being really more intentional so that I'm
Mm,
enjoying and, like using my life and not
yeah.
just kind of looking to the next finish line that's just going to get pushed out when I get there anyway.
It's true. It's interesting that that duality is always what's created stress in my life. It's like live in the moment, but save for the future. And it's just like, okay, can you give me any more opposite or opposing goals? Like
It's
it's like spend it all, save it all. You're like,
yeah.
I don't know how to do both. Like,
Yes.
can we be a little bit more? Can we be any more vague about this? Which drives me nuts.
Which and actually, I think that vagueness is, one of the maybe tools that I would like to help bring to light is this getting specific, right? Like, so
I
what
would
okay,
love
what
that.
does that mean? And
Yeah.
really, all we have right now, because money is so taboo to talk about, is I see the house that you buy and the vacation you go on, so I think that that's a reasonable expense right now. I don't know that you've put it on a credit card and are maxed out, and are stressed out about your finances, right? Or that you had a wealthy family member who paid for the entire thing. And right, like there's sort of this like we're just making all these assumptions versus and to me that's where there is some element of getting into
Yeah.
the actual numbers and kind of and making a choice, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, for what I'm making right now, for what I'm doing, this is this is the kind of space that I want to play in of um yeah,
I
now
think
and
it's just it's weird, and it's always a very money is always is remains, especially in our culture, just such a very difficult topic to talk about.
mhm.
Um, but then I think if schools do a terrible job of teaching financial education and budgeting and lifestyle, and they don't like especially when I was in school was not addressed at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
But then, simultaneously, you got really like your parents never talked to you about money either. So it was like not a thing.
Yep.
But then you got opposing information, like live in the moment, but make sure you have enough to retire. And you're like, I don't know how to do that. But
Yep.
then you start thinking about things. You're like, oh, this adds 10 years on your life. And you're like, okay, but it doesn't add 10 years to 30. It adds 10 years to 90. That's like, you're adding it on the back end of
Yes.
like, like I want to have a better life now. And so then it's all these like, this weird opposing information that to try to filter through. So I love what you're doing. I think it's needed, and
Thanks.
it needs to be just needs to be more transparent. I think people just need to more people need to have the conversations.
That's what I feel at a minimum. My start is that creating more opportunities for these conversations, right? Because it can be vulnerable and hard, but um, getting to have spaces where we can, step back and not just be in the rush of everything and not
Yeah.
paying attention, or have someone ask the question, back to the curiosity, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, why do I do that? Like I just jumped into, the stream that was doing that. And is that even what I want?
I mean, it's from all these podcasts and all these conversations, especially like pre and post recording when people share
Mhm.
things, it's wild how seemingly amazingly successful some people are and how either financially bankrupt or emotionally bankrupt they actually are. It's wild.
I always say you can never guess what someone's finances or health or relationships are from the outside. You have no idea, you know.
You never know. I'm being greeted by my puppy right now.
Oh, what kind of puppy? Actual puppy or just puppy for life? How old?
No, she's 7 months old, so she's still kind of
Real
like
puppy.
in the crazy like puppy
So fun.
mode.
So fun. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
Cielo is trying to put her in her crate, and she's doing anything and everything, but actually going in there. It's pretty hilarious. She's cute but crazy.
Yeah, yeah. There's just something about puppies and kittens and all that, right? That just embody that young energy, joy.
I had no idea. I don't like settle down. But I digress. But yeah, I think the reality is, I think that's the other thing too. To go back to just the culture and society is, you never know where somebody's at. Like you have no idea what happened to them 2 minutes prior to you running into them, and just
Right.
give some people some grace.
That's right.
I was having a conversation with somebody on my team who, with a vendor, there was a challenge, and I said, and they'd kind of like jumped to some conclusions, and I said, why don't like you don't know, like you don't know what actually happened. Maybe just give them some grace and kind of like either let them course correct or just ask them if
Right.
everything's okay. Because the reality is we're either going into something in the middle of something or just coming out of something.
Yep. Yep. It's so
Always.
true. It's so true.
And there's also the multiple categories of our life, like our finances. Our finances could be struggling, but everything else is good, or our finances are struggling in our intimate relationship. And then we have a family member who's ill, or maybe we're ill,
Or-
and maybe we have a deal blowing up. And then it's like, and then 2 minutes before they met you, they got a parking ticket. And
Right.
it's like, you just don't know. I just think we need to give, again, it's like if you just meet somebody with curiosity
Yeah.
and you look
Yeah.
them in the eye, and sometimes you just like put your hand on their arm and just look them in the eye and say, how are you doing?
Mm.
Is everything
Yeah.
okay? Like how are you today?
Yeah. I can
And
just feel that even in this. I mean, we're on video and you can't actually touch my hand, but I could feel your eyes and the difference in that kind of presence of just like connecting to a human.
yeah. And instead of, I don't know, I mean, we're just such in a rush to like get this thing done, or get over here and do this thing, and like and it's like, slow down. Slow
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Enjoy this
Yeah.
moment. It's
That's
not gonna
right.
last. It's gonna be
That's
gone.
right.
In a second, this moment's gone. Like that's it. It'll never come back. Never ever have it again.
Um, It makes me think of there was the whole slow food movement, is this like kind
Yeah.
of more quality food. And yes, it takes time, or like I'm part of it's the experience of having a meal at a table with family or friends or whatever. And I feel like we're ready, at least I'm ready for that in life, right? And sort of this, okay, where are all the things really actually last year I had started this and slowly made progress, but this view of like, what's all the noise, right? Because there's
Yeah.
so much that I am someone that can make myself feel good being busy and working hard, which is not smart. And it's like, why? Like, so not necessary. Like, what
Right.
matters? Am I clear on why I'm running so hard? Like, great. I love to run. Like, I think where I am in my middle age is like, I still like being challenged and running hard, but I want it to be for something that matters. I'm not just going to do it because that's the race that's happening inside
Yeah.
my door.
Yeah, I definitely feel that opposed to when I was younger. Like I feel like I had less reason to run, but now
Yeah.
it's like I definitely have more finite energy.
Yeah.
Especially it is like I have so much energy in a day, and so I
Yep.
want to be a little bit smarter about what I'm running for, but
Yeah.
then asking the like why does this fulfill me, or does this help me, does it connect to something else, or whatever it is.
I
Which
think too also as is my participation contributing to the problem in a way, right? Or like the acceleration. Because I do think that there's a lot of this like keeping up. In fact, I remember somebody in my corporate days who was saying he had a boss who was so great because, um, the company policy was like not to work on weekends. And then there was consistently this one person that was working on weekends. And they're like, no, it's just like what I want to do, and they made it clear, no, 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 like, if you're working on weekends, you're making more work for the rest of the people that are not, and now it's sort of like they need to like, work more to keep up that, like, flow, and I
what a
feel
weird
like
company that doesn't want that.
yeah, I mean, it was in Portland, and it was, I'm sure, very small, right? Like, it was not a corporation.
It's so bizarre, and I'm curious if they're still in business because that's it's just the
They're
opposite of
fishing in, Costa Rica, loving life. They're not in business. No, I have no idea.
that's funny. I mean,
Um
I think it works for some models, but
But I think this idea of like, I think part of the reason it can be so hard to slow down is because everyone else is racing so hard. And it's like, oh, if we all kind of were like, hey, like, let's like just take a breath and like pull it back
right.
a notch, right? It creates more space. So that's sort of like the bigger cultural movement of like needing a little bit of slowing down. But start start with one. Yes.
Yeah, the whole slow movement is actually it's pretty interesting, and yeah, it's funny. I actually years and years ago I dated a woman who wrote a thesis on slow,
Oh,
and basically like that whole movement. And I remember it's so weird. I don't know why I just thought of this, but a friend of mine was an artist, and there was like an art exhibit of somebody. They did Tai Chi, but
okay.
they basically took Tai Chi's naturally extremely slow,
Right.
but then they took it and they filmed it at like this ridiculously high frame rate so
Okay.
they can slow it down even more
Oh,
and
wow.
then play it really slow on this huge projector. And so to do one movement, it usually takes like, let's say 10 seconds, but
Mhm.
instead to do one movement, it would take like 2 hours. And
Oh,
so it would be like, if you're like sitting there and eating or enjoying whatever,
yeah,
like it would move, but it would move
barely.
so barely slow that it would just take forever for it to like unfold.
That's really cool.
But
That's
I think there's something to be said about I feel like we've come out or coming out of, we're having an awakening out of that hustle culture,
yes.
the
Yes.
early Gary V,
Yep.
like do more, which I think was needed because I
Yep.
think the people consuming the media were lazy, but I feel like we're now hitting another point of slowing down. And
Yeah.
I know for me personally, it's slowing down, finding things of quality, spending time in quality, like in. I love
Mhm.
going fishing. I love fly
Mhm.
fishing, and I love that whole like that slowness that it brings into my life.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if this was that we were talking in a pre or this now, but that's making me think of like the benefit of contrast, right? And I've even felt this.
Yeah.
One of the challenges sometimes for me with real estate, I call it never on, never off. And so, um, working more towards having clear boundaries of like my work hours. So it's like, no, this is work time. And then it gives me more space to actually be off. But if you're never on, so it's like during the day and, I'm kind of working, but also running some errands and all of that. Then like at night, it's harder for me to cut off because I don't
That's a good
necessarily,
point.
it wasn't like dedicated time. And just hearing you talk about that, the fishing, it's like, oh, right. Like creating these, I think, opportunities for the contrast, right? And the
Yeah.
different experiences you on. Sometimes I'm sure I don't know if you still do kung fu or something fast, right? Like there's probably times that there's like also great to be traveling and experiencing something
Mm.
new. Um, but and again, this is for myself recognizing like, yeah, just I would like to be more intentional about giving, you know, creating spaces, being clear on, like, what it is in that space, that
Yeah.
time and space that it will serve me or I'm, needing.
Yeah, one of the things, and this came out of me just being a jerk, is I was at dinner with Cielo one night and I was looking at my phone and
Oh,
like responding to a client and not paying attention. And she was like telling me something and I wasn't there. And
yeah,
I totally acknowledged I was being an ass. And I like put my phone down and looked up and it was like the look. And I was like, oh shit, what'd I do? And I didn't realize even what I did. And she's like, can we
seems
just have
subconscious.
dinner together?
Yeah.
Like, I would like to have a conversation with you. And I
Mm.
was like, I feel that. Like, I got it. And I remember at that moment, I was like, okay, no phones at the table. And so,
Yeah.
like, fast forward, um, we have two boys. One's doing an internship, so he usually pops in on the weekends, and the
Okay.
oldest is off to college, and so I love it. Like I love no phones at the table.
Mhm.
It's like it's so refreshing where
Mm.
everybody's looking at each other and
Mhm.
engaging and talking about the food or their days or whatever it is, and there's nobody staring at their phone, and it's literally to the point if I have to take a call or if somebody's like trying to plan something, you have to get up and go into the other room,
Yeah.
do it, and then you can come back. And it's like, it's amazing. But it's like one of those, it's a fucking hour. It's such a little
Right.
period of time. Just like,
Right.
let's just have a conversation and enjoy each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so beautiful. And even I would say eating alone at times it can be a thing of like not to have all
Yeah.
these distractions, right? But what I love about you having to get up from the table if you need to make a call or do something is that you are physically embodying the mental presence, right? If you sit at the table and send the text, but you have mentally left that world of the table. So you're kind of
100%.
like showing, right? You're like acting it of like, okay, I need to do this thing. I'm not here. And I can
Yeah.
come when I'm gonna be here, I come back and I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and it's not, it's funny. It's like some people are like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do that. But I'm like, listen, if you were sitting down with a client who's a $6 million seller, are you going to pull out your phone? I guarantee
Exactly.
you're not pulling out your phone.
Exactly.
And so why can you not? And I'm telling you, at dinner time, the banks are closed,
Yep.
Costco's closed, weekends, all that stuff's closed. No deal's going to blow up. Everything can wait. Like
Yep.
you can always
And
write an
if
addendum.
there is the one time that it's like a contract deadline at your
Yeah.
dinner time, that's a weird anomaly. That is not
And,
365 days of a year.
and to your point, I'll just say to my family, hey, you guys, I'm in the middle of something crazy right now. I may have to get up.
Right.
And
Right.
that's it.
Yeah.
And then they know if I'm like, excuse me, and I just get up and leave, that I'm not just having like a willy-nilly conversation. Like I'm actually trying to like dissolve
Right.
a major problem at this moment. And I think it's just one of those, it's like it's baby steps. It's like one of those little like micro baby steps we can put into our lives and protect that moment because it's the moments with the boys.
Mhm.
They're becoming fewer and fewer and less because they're getting older, and
Yeah.
I you can't quantify those. Like that's
Right.
not. dollars in an account. Like it's just,
Mhm.
but the conversations, those are, man, those are the best part of my day.
Yeah. And that's also probably increases your quality of being a parent. Like, that's building the relationship where they actually are used to talking to you about day to day. So when something hard comes up, it's not like the first time you guys have this like conversation without phones in the room, right? Or
Right.
like, and or you're in tune to like, oh, they're usually so much more engaged, and you start to see that they're not, maybe they're getting depressed or right. It's
Yeah.
like just kind of that, I think,
Yeah,
great
you're kind
parenting.
of, but it's like if it's every day, yeah, to your point, like you're kind of more tuned in. It's
Yeah.
like, it's like if you work out every day, you're very tuned into your body. That's just the
Right.
way it is. Or if you eat healthy every day, you're very tuned into your
Yeah.
digestion. Like that's, and so if you're connected with your family every day,
Yep.
it's just normal. Everybody's tuned in. Like they know
Right.
when you're a little off too.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's one of those, again, we talked about it earlier, but it was one of those moments that came out of a moment of pain. And it
Mm,
was like I can either perpetuate this or I can learn from it and we can make a change.
yeah.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny. The other challenge I do personally is if I go to dinner with one person, I refuse to pull my phone out, even if they get up to go to the restroom.
Oh, that is a good practice. Yes. I love
And
that.
it's crazy how we just cannot be alone
Mhm.
at all. It's
Yes.
wild. And like that urge, holy crap, like you have to like stuff that urge down so hard
Yep.
of just don't pull your phone out. You're like, but I just want to check it. And you're like, don't do it.
It's so true. It's so true. That constant, and I've heard that of like, we've lost those like downtimes of standing and waiting for something where your brain can just kind of like defrag, right? Or that
Right.
like need to constantly and or be checking in on the thing. And then you see the email about the deal, and now they come back from the bathroom and you're kind of distracted because you saw that email. Whereas if you hadn't even looked and nothing's gonna change, you would
Nothing's
have
gonna.
enjoyed the rest of your lunch.
Yeah, 100%. It's like
Yeah.
just I think, if we just kind of I think it's setting boundaries really and
Yeah.
just having like really basic rules, but it's not dissimilar when I go fishing. Like,
Mhm.
listen, I have a line in one hand and the rod in the other. I can't check my phone. Like, it's
Right.
not even a debate. And most of the time I'm in a place where there's no connectivity anyways. And
Yes.
so I'm until I drive back into the town, like there's no way you're getting in touch with me. So
Yeah.
like,
It's
so be
beautiful.
it. But I'm telling you, I come back and I'm always like, I feel like a Zen master at that moment. I'm
Mhm.
like, just my whole nervous system, it literally comes down a notch.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought of it, not to make everything quantified, but it's like, oh, that's maybe the number to quantify in the like health or community. Somehow like heart racing or like, you know what I mean? Like your blood pressure is sort of this like, are you like breathing in life?
I mean, I think just measuring your blood pressure is probably a really good indicator of how your life is doing. um, yeah, I mean, I think that's an important one.
Mhm.
Is a good simple data point.
Yeah.
Listen, we're at time, but this
Yeah.
was, my gosh, this has been one of the most refreshing conversations I've had in a
Oh,
while. So thank
thank
you.
you. I have so enjoyed it. I hope, yeah, I look forward to hearing how it comes together and would love to stay in touch. One of
100%.
my It's like my current sort of outline for the rest of the year is to use this summer sort of, getting some things in place. And then in the fall, I actually would like to be traveling to different offices to, maybe offer my TED talk and some free training or something and,
That would be
just
amazing.
start making connections and having conversations and also offering programs to, get paid too.
Yeah.
But really I know that this phase of getting to hear from other people and understand too, like what actually would be supportive. I have a ton of ideas on a lot of ways I want to really say it's I want to help people be happier.
Yeah.
But getting some of that clarity of like what actually would be helpful for you to get there.
Well, for sure. Next time or anytime you have have a good message or something you want to promote or chat about, hit me up. We'll definitely, I mean, we can have conversations at any point, but I'm
Yeah.
happy to get you back on.
Awesome.
I like what you're doing. I think it's a
Thank you.
really, I think it's there's a deficit in that category. And I really, I applaud you for doing it because it's so deeply needed on many levels within not only within our agent community, but on a global level.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you. I think that's one of the reasons it's been so hard. I care about it very much. Like I feel very strongly that this is needed and I love engaging in this way. And sometimes it's scarier when you care about something. So
Sure.
but it's also going to be more rewarding to get it together. So it's a start.
That's true. Scary's not bad though. It's just
That's
scary.
right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. This really has been so wonderful to get to chat with you and get to know you a little bit more. And I would love to stay connected.
Of course, we will.
All right.
That's a wrap.